Welcome to The Merchant Life for retailers and retail enthusiasts wanting the insider perspective of all things retail. My name is Liza and I am the principal and founder of Retail Strategy Group, a retail industry expert with over 2 decades of experience in merchandising, product creation, and go-to-market strategy across physical, digital, and omni-channel. Thanks for joining me today. Today I have Brandon, and Brandon, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Brandon Rael, pleasure to be here, Liza. Thank you for including me. Similar to you, I have a deep background in the retail and consumer industries. I actually started my career working across a variety of merchandising and assortment planning and executive roles. And I made the migration or transition over to consulting and strategy, being on the other side of the table to help retailers and brands drive a transformation and evolve and pivot to the new changing digital paradigms as well as shifting to the new customer behaviors. So, having that unique perspective of running of a retail business, but also being on the other side of the table to drive strategies, sustainable growth initiatives, and pivoting as the world changes around us. So happy to be here.
Thanks, Brandon. So today is super fitting because we both have a department store background, a retail background, and I wanted to take a deeper dive into the conversations I've been having around department stores. Seeing as you used to be at Macy's, I thought we could start with Macy's. And, we know the stock soared on Monday. There's a lot of interest around what Macy's is going to do with Yana Partners circling this new strategy around splitting up its physical and digital channels. And of course, HBC and Saks are going through a similar thing. And, retail experts and retail enthusiasts like us may have a different opinion of what they should be doing. But what do you think is right for Macy's right now?
I think Macy's should focus every single strategy around the customer experience, whether it's in the physical stores, the department stores, or their online channels. Personally, I fully see the value of having connected experience, both physical and digital. It's the same customer that's traversing both those channels. So I may disagree, at least holistically, on the strategies that they're taking place where they want to separate those two business entities. But again, if they're driving compelling value, if they have the assortment, they have the pricing and the experience within the stores, the online channels can help support that as well. They need to really drive and be passionate about the customer experience and be competitively priced and have a compelling value, whether it's their own private labels or their branding assortments.
From a merchant perspective, I will tell you, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about their merchandising strategy and, all their brands that they have right now. And of course, their private label strategy, which is very interesting to me coming from that background in private label development. When you go onto the Macy's shop floor or you shop online, do you think that they are doing a good job?
Certain aspects they are. They've been well known for their value and the private labeling. I think they could do a better job around the good, better, best strategies. You want to really appeal to a broad spectrum of consumers, not just the value-driven consumers, but those who are, I would say, aspirational luxury or want to be a part of that affordable luxury category. I think it's there for the taking. With the unfortunate demise of Lord & Taylor, a few other department stores, there's still that bridge between your off-price retailers and the mid-level department stores and that more premium department stores like Bloomingdale's and others, where there's a gap now. I think there's an opportunity for Macy's to exploit not only private labeling, mid-price goods, but also I'll call it aspirational or affordable luxury goods as well.
Do I think you bring up my other favorite retailer that I love to talk about, which is Lord & Taylor, who has basically, I don't know if they've come out winning during this pandemic, but they definitely died and came back to life. So what do you think about Lord & Taylor today?
Well, they're a cat with 9 lives. I guess they exist on a lot of channels now.
Yes.
I mourn that passing. I think they were one of the more iconic retailers and department stores who unfortunately lost favorite customers over the years. They were at one time one of the prominent, I would say, aspirational luxury or even luxury in some cases retailer that lost its way. And it was unfortunate to see their demise and their collapse of the company. But it's good to see the brand still exists in some formats and potentially can make a comeback. But They existed in a space, like I mentioned earlier, that was between the Macy's and the other level, between them and maybe Saks Avenue and Bloomingdale's, where that customer who wants to go above and beyond the mid-price goods and look for the affordable luxury item they can't get elsewhere, or the unique in-store experience that they offer customers from a home goods perspective, or whether it was for children, or apparel. They had it all covered. It was a great experience when they were at their peak. So it was unfortunate to see that happen. And
yes, and then the Bay took over, and then it was downhill.
Yes,
I do feel that way. I feel that way. I mean, I loved Lord and Taylor and their cashmere programs, and these are some of the groups of categories that I aspired to wear, because it was reasonably priced but beautiful quality. But yeah, I think that the Hudson's Bay group, or whatever we're going to call them today, I think that they were part of Lord and Taylor's failure in their physical footprint. But,
yeah, that was one of the fundamental challenges. Plus, I think the brand equity took a hit. Just the brand recognition, knowing what Lord and Taylor stood for, what their purpose was in the modern age, the last, I would say, 10 to 15 years, was diminished. Some factors you mentioned, like the Bay taking over, but also just a lack of knowing where they stood in the competitive landscape. What Lord and Taylor did to customers. I knew about them because I was a kid or a teenager, went there with my parents. I loved the experience, but the next generation that came up weren't aware of the brand, didn't understand what they stood for, or what's the compelling reason to shop at Lord and Taylor, other than it's your mom's brand. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges they faced, and that maybe potentially Macy's will face. But Macy's has the advantage of the 4th of July fireworks and Thanksgiving Day parade, and just being a well-known which Lord and Taylor didn't have.
Yeah, I think Macy's is a brand across. Just it speaks on so many different levels, right? It brings families together. It does all the things that a department store should be doing. I'm not sure if that's where department stores are going today. I think that's still up for debate. Anchor stores and the purpose of having everything under one roof. But another interesting thing that I was reading about was, Shopify developing their ERP, bridge or platform to help bigger retailers like a Lord and Taylor to tackle e-com and digital shopping. Do you have any thoughts around retail tech supporting these big legacy retailers, and what if Shopify didn't exist? Would Lord and Taylor be able to survive today?
I think there were also fundamental issues with Lord and Taylor's digital experience. Their platform, their mobile experience, that was lacking. I mean, it was a lot of their business was centered and around the store strategies, which were also had fundamental challenges. So I think Shopify has had a new element now, where that it democratizes on online shopping, enables small brands and indie brands to scale at a rapid rate and to expand their reach. So all these are areas that fundamentally, unfortunately, Lord and Taylor was failing at. It wasn't just physical, the digital. There was a digital footprint as well, which was lacking. The robustness, the speed, the connectedness that retailers need to be frankly, in today's day and age, and to be connected to social channels like Instagram and TikTok and others.
Yeah. Do you think that Lord and Taylor will be the Farfetch and My Teresa of today?
I guess it's to be determined. We'll see how much interest and viability it has as a brand.
Yeah.
Its potential to be an online marketplace. I'd be excited to see that, and if it manifests itself to be a physical showroom again, I'll be happy to shop at Lord and Taylor again, whatever format comes up. But it's good to know there is some brand equity now is being reignited. There is an interest in growing it. I think we more in the great location in New York City and other stores that are closed, but hopefully this reinvention will be a start of a new beginning for them.
Yeah. Let's go back to Macy's for a second. As Macy's, if they do shift into, what Yana partners with their strategy around splitting physical and digital, what do you think that will do for those physical locations? Because obviously Macy's has a lot more stores than a Saks. So, closing doors or shifting strategies to digital versus physical, what could that mean for communities?
It it will inspire potentially customers to have to go to the store more often, to go to the department store for their goods, where the customer behaviors have shifted to the point where there has to be a more compelling reason to go to the store. You know, if you can't buy online, if you can't find what you need, if you need to try it on, need to experience it, you go to a store or a showroom for that. So that connected experience of maybe doing some pre-game shopping on your mobile device or your desktop, then going to the store and closing the deal, I think that's going to be a fundamental challenge if they separate the businesses out. And that way it's seeing a more connected world with QR codes becoming more prominent, with live streaming, with connecting with sales associate. So I think that I have some fundamental issues with separation of the e-commerce business and the store business to make this an effective business model for a customer that's used to being always online, always connected. We don't have to physically go online or log into our modems anymore. We're online literally the entire day. So that's the same customer who's going to the store. So there's no like, let me dial up my modem and go to AOL.com. We're literally connected 24 hours a day. So I have some fundamental concerns about this new approach. It may reignite interest in the brand and give you a compelling reason to go to the store, but it all comes down to execution. What does that store have to offer me that I can't buy online?
Yeah.
So that's my concerns there.
Yeah, I do feel the same way. I think that there's a lack of customer centricity when we split up channels, and I'm a big advocate in having that seamless integration and engagement across channel. I mean, working with brands like Ralph Lauren and Club Monaco, design-led brands, and then of course department stores, seeing that shift of disappointment when what we see online is not in store, or when there's a price discrepancy, or when there's just not the same product assortment. I think that's where there's a big miss. Is, are we thinking about that merchandising strategy in a way that's going to impact the customer in the biggest way? I always go back to that merchandising strategy. I think it's all about product, and I think that's something that the folks like Yano Partners and the what HBC and Saks, like, what their strategy is actually missing. Are we actually thinking about the customer and what product means to them? Because if we don't talk about product, are we really retailing?
You're absolutely right. It all fundamentally comes down to product, the assortments, the quality, the depth and breadth of the assortments, and is it trend? Is it trend worthy? Is it really meeting the needs of the consumer taste and preferences at the right value, at the right price, the right place? So I think the retail fundamentals don't change, whether it's online or in store. But that, like you mentioned, that connected experience where those two channels together, or a channelist for that matter, matters. I think that retailers, like, I would go off topic here, but Nordstrom is a fine example that connects those two experiences together.
Yes.
They give you a compelling reason to go to the department store, and they've kind of reimagined what a department store of the future could be. So if you want to go off topic, then we can discuss that as well.
Yes, Nordstrom is actually one of my favorite stores,
right?
Because I find that there's actually a level of customer service that I don't find anywhere else in a physical store, a department store. There are a few others that I'm very passionate about, but I think Nordstrom is one that invests in data insights and driving decisions and building that customer engagement across channel. I'm a huge fan of that. Last question of today is, what do you think the future of the department store is, and how do you tie in that anchor store strategy in your future prediction?
I think there's still a place for department stores. Is it the top of the food chain where it used to be? No, it's not, because there are so many other viable options out there. But there's still room for it, because teenagers need a place to go to, and parents need a place to shop.
Yes.
People want to have an experience in store. Department stores can offer that to people. They only need to really take a data first, analytical first approach and personalize the experience, localize the experience, and more peripheral services like restaurants or martini bars or whatever it takes to attract people to the store. And don't try to become everything to everyone. Actually curate your assortment a lot more, curate your experiences a lot more, and perhaps go through brand partnerships, the store within the store concepts that Lord Taylor used to do so well, and Saks and Evie does so well, and provide these multi-brand experiences across the sales floor to attract a consumer in that's looking not just for value, not just for to meet a need, but also for a new experience and to try new products. But it all comes down to service and execution. And the Nostrums of the
Yeah.
world have taken a data-first approach, but a very personal approach to servicing the customer, whether it's customization needs or tailoring, or if we can't fulfill it in store, we have a way of getting it to you next day from another store. We have the ability and have the capabilities of meeting your needs, so you're not leaving empty-handed. You won't be on the sales floor searching for a store associate because they're always accessible and available to you. That execution matters. So it's made a very heavy investment in store associates and training, change management, but also the merchandising strategies to make it a compelling experience for the customers. And even
Totally
the store,
agree.
one more topic is store formats. The formats of yesterday aren't compelling. You want wider sales floors. You want less product. You want more experiences, better design, connected experiences via your mobile phone. So you can actually use QR codes. You can scan. You can try things on virtually. There's so many technologies that can be leveraged to make the store modernized and more of a fulfilling experience for the customer.
Yes, totally aligned. Love that you brought up technology. I think that's something that retailers don't enable enough across functional teams, not only at the store level or marketing, but we need to start using digital tools to build that relationship with the customer. So I love that you said that. Thank you so much, Brandon. Where can people find you?
I am on LinkedIn, so you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter, so at Brandon Rael, and currently I'm one of the transformation leaders at Reach Partners. So we help retailers, especially department stores, pivot and transform the operating models to the new customer behaviors. So it's a pleasure having this conversation, and thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, thanks, Brandon. Stay tuned for our next episode where we'll take another deep dive into department stores of the future and what who is the North Star? Is it Nordstrom? Probably. Take care.